What's up, YouTube? What's up, YouTube? It's your boy back with another one. People, in today's video, we are going to discuss colored people and why they do not form political parties and why colored people do not want to rule their countries. Let me know what you think about this topic in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. You know we family, right? Holler. Phew, man. People, it's crazy to think that South Africa has a large colored population. But to be frank and to be honest, within that colored population, they are people who are colored by race, but are not colored by culture. So therefore, they do not see themselves as colored. And then there are colored people who identify solely as colored, right? And nothing else. So there's two types of colors that we get, right? Now we all know there's the Cape Malays, right? Then we have the Khoi and the San people as well. So different dynamics to the colored community, right? So as everybody knows, the colored community is the most diverse group of people in the world, right? Because colors come in all shapes and sizes. Okay, but that's not the topic of the day. The topic of the day is why colored people. Now I'm talking about people who identify as colored, right? If you look colored but don't identify as colored, this video is not for you, right? This video is only for people who by culture are colored, by race identify as colored, right? So, number one, I've looked up and down in different various countries where colored people live, right? Because most countries do have colored people, right? And most countries have different racial classifications, right? Because some countries, the colors don't even see themselves as a racial point of view. They identify by tribal lines. You know what I mean? But those countries that do see themselves as colored people, right? I I did my little digging, right? A little research, and I found that most colored people, irrespective of which country they're from, they have very little political ambitions. I mean, it's you see, you see South Africa. South Africa belongs to the Khoi and the San people, right? The Khoi and the San people, this is their land. And we cannot argue and dispute that fact. This is their land, you know. African people came from, I think, Central Africa. And the reason why there's evidence of that is because all the Nguni languages interlink. Did you know that from South Africa right up to Congo, up there, the word meat is all the same? It's all nyama. The word for a snake is inyoka. Guys, that shows you just that linguistic connection with this. It shows that people came from it shows that most black people came from one place. And then obviously as they spread, then the language obviously disintegrated. Right? And I truly believe in that theory. I really truly do. Truly I do. Because if you look at a if you look at a Southern African black person, you can't just say to me straight. There are some that have distinctive features, right? Every country has those people that have like distinct features, right? I just say like Nigerians, you can tell. But then again, you can't tell a Nigerian from a Ghanaian, for those that really know, maybe. But for us in Southern Africa, I mean, you just can't look at a Ghanaian and say, that's a Ghanaian. I don't know if you can, but most people don't. Most people can't. I mean, you can't even tell the difference between a South African color to a Namibian color. You can tell the difference between a South African black to a Namibian black. Can you tell the difference between a South African Sotho and a Botswana Sotho? You can't, right? I would think that I would think that Zimbabweans and Zambians look somehow similar. I would argue that. You know what I mean? Hey, but that's not the argument of the day. I'm just trying to spread. So, because I know a lot of people are going to come in the comments, black people were here before and black people that. No, you were not here before. Like I said to you, the language coming from the Congo, coming down, it shows in the language. Because once you got to Southern Africa, click, click, it started clicking. And it all changed right there. Right? So Southern Africa was for the Khoi and the San people. Evident. Right. Get that out of the way. People, colored people. I don't know what needs to be done in the colored communities, but colored people need to sit down. Colored people need to come together. Colored people need to have a serious talk about taking matters into their own hands. You see, as colored people, we are known for drugs, gangsterism, alcoholism, drunkenness. Just I don't know if I don't know if there's anything that colored people are known for that is of good thing that comes to mind first to people, you know, because it's the bad elements that precede us where we go. When people see a group of colored people, the last thing on their mind is like, ah, here come a jolly group of friends, you know, depending on the setting, depending on, you know what I mean? A lot of people say, sure, a group of colored people is scary. The only time you'd be glad to bump into a group of colored guys is like in a public space, in a mall, and that, and okay, then it's cool. But in a street setting, not so much, right? So, colored people, we need to come together and sit down and think about how we can rule ourselves. So, this may be a bad take on things. This may be a hard take on things. But the honest truth is this: for the longest of times, other races have decided for the colored people. Other races have made mockery of the colored people. Other races have decided to leave the coloreds by the wayside. Other races have decided to use the colored people as a leverage for them to get to the top. Now the colored people know this. They see this. They complain, but they don't do anything to rectify the situation. Now, am I wrong to say the colored people need to start political parties? I mean, there isn't, besides the National Colored Congress, right? The NCC, the National Colored Congress. Is there any other colored political party that you know of that just caters to and for colored people? You see, I know that if you form a colored only party, that you won't gain majority votes. And that's fine. But what you need to do is we need to have a coalition of colored parties that can then um, link up with bigger parties. And then you have much of a bigger say because now you also have a political stake. But if we're just going to be just sitting back and just voting for a white party, they don't care for you. You vote for the black party, they also don't care for you. Then you're going to sit and complain. The white people, they don't like us. Oh, the black people, they don't care, they don't like about us. How about us? How about us looking at ourselves and saying, nobody likes us, nobody wants us, we are too black for this, we are too white for that. So how about we start our own thing? How about we start looking after our own interests? How about we start defending ourselves? How about we start upskilling ourselves? How about we start our own political parties? How about we start our own companies? How about we start our own colored things? That we don't have to depend on any other race for our survival, for our voice, for our platforms, for our anything. I mean, people, for generations, Colored people are known to party. Colored people are known to have a nice time. Colored people are known to enjoy life. Colored people are known to be loyal and to be faithful, to be all these things, right? And other bad things also in between, right? To be fair. The sad thing though is that we never take accountability for our own actions. We just don't. And it's sad that we blame other people for our own inactions. We see things, we don't act. We wait for other people to try and fix our own things that are directly affecting us. I mean, let's look at the gangster problem, for example. We want the DA to fix that problem. Why would the DA fix it if gangsterism is not directly affecting them? Do you see what the DA did when crime was becoming a problem in Sea Point and Camps Bay? You know what they did? Mm. They formed private security companies. They formed private security companies. They didn't wait for the colored people to go and form private security companies so that they could be hired in the white people's areas. No, they didn't. Right? So, colored people, the question is, what are we going to do moving forward? Do we need to be pushed? Do we need to be shouted at? Do we need to be shot? Do we need to be pushed out of our own provinces? Do we need to be pushed out of our jobs? So, the question I'm trying to ask is, of all the social ills that we complain about, like, for example, in the Western Cape, a lot of colors complain that too many people from the Eastern Cape are here. The people from the Eastern Cape are taking jobs. The Eastern Cape people are doing this. The Eastern Cape people are this. And it's evident when you go to most of the places, like in the malls, in the restaurants, all the servers, all the waitresses, all the cashiers, all the shelf packers, cleaners, this, that. Most of them, to be honest, most of them are black people from the Eastern Cape, foreign black people, but you'll hardly find a colored person. And it's a big problem, right? Okay, we see it as colored people. So what are we doing about it? Nothing. But we complain to who? To the white man and to the black man. But what are we doing about it? That's the thing. So when are we going to take responsibility and accountability for our inactions of not also getting involved in the political arena like the whites do and the black people do? It's funny that this country belongs to the Queen and the San, colored people, right? But it's the black people and the white people who are fighting for the country. Well, the colored people are just there. We just like watching as they fight over a land that's neither theirs, not theirs. And the owners are just watching. Guys, come on. As colored people, where are the colored leaders? Where are the future colored leaders? Where are the current colored leaders or the aspirant colored leaders? I mean, we should be having weekly, monthly, quarterly, annual debates about the colored direction, the colored future, the colored this. Because what I see now is just we are just drifting in many different directions because we're already so divided. So before we can actually think of forming political parties, we need to have a common goal for a common good for every colored person. Now, this is not supposed to be a division of racism and what. No, because there's black political parties, there's white political parties. There should be colored political parties. That's what I'm advocating for. Do you understand what I'm saying? We should be saying colored people have this agenda, they're leaning to the left. Or colored people have this agenda, they're leaning to the right. Right? We should have, I know it's difficult to say, like, Because I know there's a lot of colored people that support the ANC. I know there's a lot of people, a lot of colored people that support the DA, and that is fine. I totally don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is not having colored political parties. There should be colored political parties that are divided on being on the left or swing to the right. I don't mind if you swing left or swing left. That's fine. But let's have our own political parties that when we have problems, we can go to our own political people and say, people, you are from this community. You know the problems we have because they affected you or they affect your relatives directly. We know how to solve these problems. That's what I'm talking about. Do you think I'm wrong or do you think I'm right? Next, we get into the pros of having colored political parties. Holla. People, the pros of having colored political parties is because colored people know colored problems. Another pro of having political parties of colored people or for colored people is that colored people know their strengths. So, if you have political parties that cater specifically to the colored communities, half of the problems that persist in the colored communities would be solved, provided we do not have corrupt colored leaders. Now, as much as I'd love to say, or I'd love to just shout from rooftops, we need to have political party. I know it's not an easy feat. I know it's not an easy feat to create a political party, starting afresh, because it's like a company. You got to get funding, you got to get all these things to put in structures and all that. But as a community, if we all come together, like for example, like what AfriForum does, right? I think AfriForum they pay something like 100 man, 150 rand a month membership fees, and they've got like 300,000 members. So they almost get like something like 43 million a year or a month. It's like a monthly fee. So they get like 43 million a month, if I'm not mistaken, because I think it's a monthly fee of 150 rand. 150 rand. That's a lot of money. So can you imagine if the color community, right? If we could think as one, move as one, do like what the white people do, right? Do like what the Indian people do, right? If you could think like how the Muslim people think, for example, right? Now, I also like to think that the Muslim community would also fall into the colored category, right? Because I do know that there are some Muslims that only want to associate with Muslims, and that's fine. Have a Muslim party, have a colored party, but at the same time, these Muslim and colored people, most times they live in the exact same communities. So they should be seeing each other in almost the exact same light because they go through the exact same problems. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not a religious thing, it's a social thing, right? So, pros of having political parties that cater directly and to colored people will be to the advantage like what the DA does for the white people. That's a simple and straightforward thing. I mean, look at what the Freedom Front does. Look what every forum does. And every forum is not a political party, but they might as well just be one because they really do act like one because they're very active. Except for the NCC, right? Who else? Why are we just watching one person? Can we? Is there a forum? Is there a platform? Can we start by creating a social media page first? Can we start by contacting rich colored people? Can we start by contacting influential colored people and see if we can bring everyone onto a platform and then discuss the colored way forward? It's fine if you don't see yourself as wanting to be a part of it, then that's fine. No one's forcing you to do what you don't want to do. If you feel you're comfortable with the DA, that's fine. You can be with the ANC, that's fine. But I'm talking specifically about those people, the colored people that actually want to build something uniquely for colored people. The other races are doing it. It's not racism. So if the colored people do it, so why should it be classed as racism? Somebody might come on this platform and say that I'm trying to divide people. No, I'm not. Why why would you call this division if the EFF, for example, very active in the black speak up. Julius Malema speaks up for everybody, but predominantly for the black people. The ANC, you can see the people that are eating. You can see the cadres and all that. You can see who they specifically cater for. I mean, when the ANC were allegedly busing people into the Western province, they weren't busing in colored people. No, they weren't. Were they? No. So you see, the power of having a political party that caters to the colored people. So if we had a political party that was on seat the DA, for example, we could get a political party that could bus in colored people from Johannesburg, bus in colored people from the Eastern Cape, bus in colored people from the Northern Cape, have them vote DA out. Just giving an example. The power of having a colored political party. Next, we get into the cons of having a colored political party. I don't see any cons, but hey, we'll have to search for them, right? People, currently, there's only one voice in the colored community that's speaking for the colored people, and that's the NCC. That's not enough, right? We need more. We need bigger. We need louder. So, the cons of having colored political parties, I can't think of any. I really can't think of any. Because one political party like the NCC cannot solve all the colored problems. Definitely not. So, we need more. Do you think having more would be a con? No. That is what I'm saying. There are no cons to having more or even a political, colored political party, right? The NCC is still too small. We need bigger voices. We need more. So the cons, no cons. Right now, without colored political parties, there's so many ills going on, social ills going on. So we need more. So there can be no cons to having colored political parties. That's my whole point. Let me know what you think. Was I on the money with this one, or did I totally miss it with this one? Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. You know we're family, right? Holler.